Hi. I am still going through the final few lists for the Spanish/German team coming, and this one is for Manuel. Manuel is the German team captain, and he did very well at the WTC, which means that he basically won it. He was the best placed single player at the WTC, which, in my eyes at least, makes him the world champion until we have the next WTC. So he's a really good player, and we actually played the Germans, and we lost. Although I did win my own game, but the team lost, and Manuel beat Michael Fee in a very tense game where Michael had very little chances of actually winning. So interesting. And Manuel is bringing a very, very interesting list. Again, there is this thing with the Danish meta not being the same as the German meta, not being the same as the Spanish meta. Manuel has, because he's from Spain originally, he has a foot in both camps there, right? So he's really, he's an interesting player, he's a very, very good player, and he makes very interesting lists. I think he even plays exclusively as Axis powers, which is kind of interesting as well, because the Axis, with the exception of Japan, is maybe not seen as the most competitive, and yet he does very, very well. So for those who want to play Axis and want to do well at tournaments, they would do well to follow what Manuel is doing and to pay close attention. And yeah. For Bug, Manuel is bringing a very, very interesting list. It's a double platoon. It is a theater platoon, Defense of Paris, which has some very interesting units. He has 2 regular second lieutenants, as cheap as he can get them, and he is going to need those for their morale bonus, because he has 7 inexperienced 10-man shirker units. 7. Each of them has 2 pistols and 8 rifles, and 1 Panzerfaust. And this is where it gets interesting, right? Because every single one of those units is a threat to everything else. If you have a car, it's a threat. It has a Panzerfaust. If you have dudes in that go for close combat, they are 10 men, and 2 of them have pistols, which are tough fighter, right? If you're like exchanging fire, they have 8 rifles. All of these units are a threat, and there are so many of them. 7 infantry units in one list. It's almost like it's a horde army almost, except that it only has 15 order dice, and I'll tell you why in a second, because he's spending points on something else. He has 2 regular motorcycles, armored cars, with an MNG and Recce. These are very, very annoying, very, very good armored cars. They're very quick, and they're very, very maneuverable. So you can really quickly get up behind your lines and start pinning down stuff and killing stuff. They're very good. I like them a lot. And you can even use them to block off like tanks, because you can't just run over them, which is very, very annoying. And finally, and I can't believe I'm already saying finally, I'm only 4 minutes into my video and I've spent 2 of them talking about who Manuel is. He has 4 Hotchkiss tanks. This is where his list gets really interesting, because the Hotchkiss is, I guess, something that the Germans conquered and used as a makeshift tank in sort of desperate measures thing. It's a 1-man turret, 8+ tank, which has a light anti-tank gun. It doesn't sound that great right now, right? It has a coaxial MMG, so not that many shots. But each one of his 4 Hotchkisses has a multi-rocket launcher. So he has 4 mobile multi-rocket launchers that can go into terrain, that can take cover from that terrain, and just sit there and pump out shots. and then he can stay behind his own lines of infantry. So you have to like work your way through the infantry to get to those Hotchkisses. That is really a mean list. It's an extremely hardcore list because it has an element of artillery that can shoot indirectly all the time, and in this case hit multiple units with every shot if it hits. And you have the difficult decision: do I go down or do I not? If you go down, well, you're stuck. If you don't go down, you might get hit. And a hit from a multi-rocket launcher is no fun, let me tell you. And he has 4 of those, so it's really a lot of shots being pumped into those units. He can make damn sure that you go down or get hit, because like 4 dice on every unit. Those 6s will pop up. One thing that maybe is a thing where you can like fight against this unit is he can't really shoot you if you're very close to his own units. So if you have an army that likes being up close and personal, which is really dangerous against 70 infantrymen. Yes, they're inexperienced, but there's 70 of them. But if you do like to be up and close and personal, then you might push up against his army and avoid those shots by just simply being too close to his units. Otherwise, I don't know what to do. It'll be really interesting, Manuel, to see how this works out in the Danish meta. We have had people trying to make multi-rocket launcher spam lists before. They sometimes work, sometimes they don't. So it's really interesting to see. Also with the tables, from what I could see of the Spanish meta, the Spanish tables, they were much more open than what I think we're going to see at BYG, which that is also something to consider, right, when using multi-rocket launchers. But if you're very lucky, you'll have a lot of houses on the tables, which should be a benefit to your multi-rocket launchers, because you can shoot at the houses, right? So, yeah, let's see how it goes. I look forward to meeting you on the table. Cheers, bye.